Determine all critical numbers for the function f of x equals x cubed plus 3 over x. Critical numbers are the x values that make the numerator and the denominator of the derivative equal to 0 and are in the domain of the function. The first thing to do is find the domain. F of x equals x cubed plus 3 over x. The first term, x cubed, has a domain of all reals, but the second term has a denominator, and a denominator cannot equal 0. Therefore, x cannot equal 0, and the domain is all real numbers except for 0, negative infinity up to 0, round bracket so that it doesn't include it, union, 0, round bracket, up to positive infinity. The next thing to do is find the derivative. But before that's accomplished, we'll want to rewrite the second term. To take its derivative, since the numerator is a constant, no need for a quotient rule, we will rewrite the denominator as a negative exponent, x to the negative 1, and a power rule can be used. The derivative, f prime of x equals, first term power rule, bring down the power, subtract 1 from it. Second term power rule, bring down the power, multiply with the 3, subtract 1 from it. Any negative exponents need to be rewritten. We will move the negative 2 power in the second term to its denominator. Once one or more terms in the derivative have a denominator, we have to put every term over that common denominator before we find critical numbers. We need a common denominator of x squared. The first term will be multiplied by x squared over x squared, a form of 1, to give it the common denominator. 3x squared times x squared will be 3x to the fourth, minus the 3, and it's over the common denominator of x squared. Now that we have the derivative written as a single fraction, we can set the numerator equal to 0 and the denominator equal to 0. Starting with the numerator, 3x to the fourth minus 3 equals 0. The first thing to do is factor out the common factor of 3, leaving behind an x to the fourth minus 1. X to the fourth minus 1 is a difference of squares and can be factored into an x squared, and a positive 1, and a negative 1. The x squared plus 1 is a sum of squares, does not factor, and has no real number solutions, equal to 0. But the difference of squares factors further and will be x plus 1 and x minus 1. This leads to x equals negative 1 and x equals positive 1. We will keep only those that are in the domain. The domain is all real numbers except for 0. Neither of these are 0. Both of these are kept. Now we work with the denominator equal to 0. X squared equals 0. Take the square root of both sides, x equals 0. We check to see whether this is in the domain. The domain is all real numbers except for 0. We have a 0 here. That's not in the domain. We cross it out. It's not one of the critical numbers. And we have x equals negative 1 and x equals positive 1 as the critical numbers for the function.